Hello and welcome to this new series I've decided to try and do for Madden 2017 as part of the VGForums Sim League that's going on. So I've got two games to show you in this particular inaugural video, if you'd like to put it that way, of me first doing a practice session with just one of the guys in the league. And this is me against him. He is the LA Rams. I am, and my team will always be the Miami Dolphins. I say always. I'll drop them if you tell me to. Now, I grew up loving the Dolphins for no reason other than Dan Marino, I expect. Back in the 80s, showing the age I am, I didn't know anybody else. The Dolphins were the big team. As a kid outside of America, it was like, I'm going to follow the Dolphins, and I just always have. Not always religiously. I don't necessarily follow American football closely. I got back into it a bit more recently, doing a fantasy NFL kind of league. So you kind of pick up your team from there. So in this fantasy league that I joined, it had the Dolphins free. I said, yes, please, I will take them. The difference between this game and the next game, because I've got a game coming up against Seattle, which is a preseason official game. The difference is this one is using the standard Miami team. The preseason game, because the league has been running for a couple of seasons without me and Miami doing what they do and all that kind of stuff, I have essentially a bit of a weaker team than you get in the default game. So it's all about, drafting players, finding players and sorting that out. Now, I've played Madden on things like the Mega Drive and SNES way back when it was like, you had 3 buttons and that was it, and it was a lot less complicated. And I've always liked the American style games, bit basketball, the NHL. It's probably still my favourite of the lot. And then Madden as well. I just love the kind of American games. The trouble is, now it's got so complicated, and you kind of need to know really what the plays mean and what's going to happen when you do a certain thing. It becomes really rather daunting. And so this was a warm-up for that. So as you can see here, for my first drive up against the Rams, as it were. It sounds a bit more wrong than it's meant to do. I get absolutely nothing. Now, because it's a sim league, and by that it's simulation, and we have if you go to VGForums.com, you can look up the rules there and see how we play. On a 4th down, unless it's like a certain point in the game, it's, you punt it, you just go from there. So the edit that you see I did there is giving them their score straight away without seeing the whole getting to that point. But they essentially did a drive, didn't get into touchdown range, but on their 4th down were able to go for 3. So this is me now taking control of the defense on the Rams' second drive. The reason I put that one in there is that was an absolutely awesome touchdown. Credit where credit's due, and I don't mind getting beaten, especially with a game I haven't really played before. It was just kind of a phenomenal long throw, and in fairness, he doesn't always do that, and it doesn't always work out when he does try, and the same for myself. But it was just kind of phenomenal. Now, the bit I have, and this is where, again, please in the comments or on Twitter @TheRealTomTom, get in touch with me and let me know kind of essentially what it all means. I've watched quite a few of the sort of other people's Madden videos and what to watch for and all the rest of it, but when you're in the middle of playing it compared to watching a video, your brain essentially farts out the window and you're not quite sure what to do. So here we are. It's a long drive. I somehow do the same thing, not getting a touchdown unfortunately, but I get it straight up the middle in between all the defenders. Now, again, I have no idea how I picked the right receiver. Maybe in the comments tell me why it worked. It'd be really interesting to know why things happen, just for my peace of mind for doing this in the future. What are the reasons things are working for me, and what is it that I do wrong? I will need as much feedback as humanly possible. So again, that's it. And there, his defense just opens me a massive hole to score a rushing touchdown with Jay Ajayi, the new all-star running back, or soon-to-be all-star running back for the Dolphins. So it's 9v6. I'm pretty pleased so far with the score. My defense stops him at the line. And this, I think, comes to, again, not necessarily knowing how the plays work and all that. I picked, you can see there, I chose free flyer man blitz. I think that means it's taking one man essentially at the quarterback and blitzing to that position. So that's why there was no holes left. Now here, he runs, I believe it, yeah, is a quarterback sneak. And the first time he does it, my guys stop him, and it's on the line. The second time, and it takes it across the line. Now that one looked further away than the first one. I'm not quite sure where I'm looking and what's going on. But yeah, that for me is a bit kind of not sure why it worked. I was doing a major frontline blitz on the goal line. All fair play to him. He gets down for the touchdown, and it's now 15-6 with the conversion, making it 16-6. So doing a running play, and I get absolutely smacked down through his defence. Again, I know you're meant to try and follow a running route. This is, again, my inexperience of the game and inexperience of American football in general, where it's knowing what the bits mean for a running play, where the holes are going to break, because I think I changed direction and essentially run into his defence with the hole that was there. Should I have carried on around the outside? Should I have tried running directly into the line? It does get confusing. So there we go. I incomplete on 4th and long. So it's close enough though to go for the field goal. What's quite annoying, and I know why they do it obviously, but that you get your one shot to essentially line up the kick. It's so you probably don't waste too much time playing an online multiplayer game. But it starts to disappear, and you're like, it's just about here then. So here we go for another kickoff. It's 16-12 in the 4th quarter. I don't know whether you can hear in the background. I have obviously turned them down. They are talking about maybe I should have gone for it because it's the 4th quarter. But for me, I was kind of playing it a bit like rugby, where I'd rather make sure I get points on the board, because you never know what's going to happen. You might get a turnover. You might get the drive back slightly better. But as it turns out, he gets a fantastic rushing touchdown using the halfback toss to my man blitz again there. With that, I didn't necessarily know he's going to run, but what would be a good defensive sort of formation positioning to get that to go through. So there we go. Gets 23 through to 12. It's got 1 minute 15 left on the 4th quarter, which essentially means my time here is done. I am unlikely to make anything much out of this. Take a knee to get the up to 20 yards, and we'll then leave it there as nothing else happens. So I get us scores in the 2nd quarter, and then here we have the replays of the best bits. So again, that was a fantastic run he got through, and I was unlucky to get further, but obviously with it being in the backfield, it does mean that you're going to be very surrounded very quickly. That was an annoying one. I did quite a good run, as you see, but got knocked down. It's the way it goes. It's the way football goes. So there you see the statistics, 23-12. He has a lot more passing yards. I actually had one more rushing yard, but he gets more yards per play. Takeaways, I think that's turnovers. I'm not 100% sure. I doubt it's where they order McDonald's on the sideline, or Burger King. So here is my first preseason game using, again, the Dolphins, but with a slightly weakened team. In the last one I had a half-decent tight end. This season Jordan Cameron left, so I don't have a great tight end. I'm up against the Seahawks, and it's now 7-3 going into this. So I've already scored a conversion, and so here we go. 1st and 10. Having seen a few videos about rushing, I've got a bit more of an idea. So I do try and, again, because it's a sim league, try and play it how they would do. You know, maybe the first 2 downs would be runs, with the 3rd down, depending on the length, you do throws. Maybe a throw here, which is what I think I'm doing. It's knowing where the routes are going to be running, knowing where to go. If my guy had just not caught it, I would have been fine. However, he tips it up, leaves the ball in the air, and the defensive player there gets a turnover. So I get quite a few turnovers in this. And again, here we see the Seahawks coach understanding more where the holes are going to appear, how to adapt the running play to that, and gets to a 2nd and 1. So with 1 yard to go, it's hopefully essentially an easy carry for him. Again, not knowing what he's going to play, I've covered a throwing option because, again, that's what I do, but then it gives him plenty of space on the line. And although it's only, it's Arleli, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Because it is the preseason, I don't think they use the starters. They may get the first quarter, but then they rest them out, obviously, so to save on injuries as they would do in real life. I don't know whether as the game progresses, that who scored that doesn't say. I missed that. Doesn't matter. So I'm trying a different view, give me a bit more open space. So I do get a bit more open and get a throw there. But essentially, through this whole process, I do a lot more turnovers. I don't know whether it's because he's got a better defense than the Rams had. And there you go. I was under pressure. I threw early. Well, I didn't throw early, but I threw to where I thought I saw someone running. And I do it straight to their position. Now, I don't know whether, again, like I say, that's because it's a bad quarterback not hitting targets quite well enough. I don't know whether it's because the wide receiver is like a low-ranking wide receiver, so he doesn't do so well. Arguably, the defense should also be... I essentially there, if you didn't notice that, opened up the hole for him. The guy that was probably meant to be taking the running back on, I tried to blitz the quarterback. He'd thrown wide to the right wide receiver as a kind of a throw play, and he easily made it through for a score. So 21-3. This game is nowhere near as close as that first one. I've played my first game so far of the real season, so I will do that video soon. What I'm going to try and do is... Oh, there we go. I actually get a touchdown. I forgot about that one. Perfect. What a good play. Yeah, let me know whether whether you'd like to watch sort of the 2 games a week that we play in one video, or whether you'd like them shorter as a game each. I will try and do that if I have the time. By doing the commentary for 2 games as well as the Formula 1 stuff, it kind of makes it a little easier, but I'm happy to do whatever you'd prefer to watch. So if you want to watch like 2 shorter videos, I will try and make that happen. Just let me know in the comments. Tweet me at @TheRealTomTom, and I will let you know. So we're in the 3rd quarter, 4 minutes to go. I am now going to do the 1st and 10 and run you an entire season. The whole run set of downs. So I start with a run play. Miss the hole, start running into my own defensive back. I hate when that happens. And get a sort of a 2-yard pickup on that. So 2nd and 8. As you can see, there is none of the named quarterbacks, wide receivers that are playing. It was to the right player. He was kind of free, but he got, as you just heard there, he got jarred loose. So 3rd and 8. It's kind of knowing who to use, which plays to run, how best to approach it. For a 3rd and 8, I definitely think of it as got to get it done, and there we go. Tight end happened to be free. I think, is that a cross play? I can't remember what it's called exactly, but he's obviously running across the front line of the line. He was completely open and got across for the 1st down, which is good. So here we go. Get another 1st down. So as I warm up to the game, I start doing reasonably well. All right, I'm not going to outscore the guy. I'm not going to win, and that's fine. But I do start to, rather than going out after doing 4 downs, I actually start to play relatively well for me. Bear in mind, this video is essentially the 2nd time I've done a multiplayer game of Madden at this point, and I've done a few of the tutorials and played a few games on its own. So it's essentially what you're watching here is me learning the game and being very new to the whole American football process, trying to work out what to do. So, excuse me, 2nd and 7, going for a run play, get a bit of a hole, and get a few more yards up to about 3rd and 1. Now, I think I throw, but I probably should have done a run. Yeah, I see. I go for a throw where my tight end is meant to be going across, and that's, I think, what I'd planned to do, is use the tight end. But he gets... Oh, no, he does get there. It must have been earlier on where he gets blocked, essentially. Oh, no, it was a halfback screen I was doing, where the halfback was being held by one of the defensive line. So I got blitzed to high heaven and had nowhere else to throw or go with it. So far, we're doing quite well. That was a... There we go, yes. So I thought it was really good, but I didn't quite see what came up there. But I got a defensive... Oh, no, sorry, an offensive penalty. So it's now 1st and 20, and this is where I get really set back into sort of finding the rhythm again. Knowing where to go, what to do. I've got nowhere to throw to. I go for it, but it was obviously well covered by the... is that the strong safety, I think? Or is that a cornerback? Still learning all the positions and what they do and where they play. But basically, he is very covered, and the opening was not there long enough. Go for another run, but again, my finesse on running plays, if I don't have the space, doesn't allow me to make little errors. Now, again, I don't know if that's the game or whether that's me or whether it's the running back in particular. So I've got a bit of space. I'm about to get hit. I didn't throw it quite in time. Please, again, in the comments, let me know who I should have thrown that one to. But I go for the field goal because I'm close enough for that to get a couple more points on the board. So yeah, pleased with how that one worked out and ended. So I get 13 points. The Seattle guy was really nice about it afterwards and was kind of, for the first time you've played, I'm kind of impressed that you got the points that you got. So yeah, that was, so far I don't feel as overwhelmed as I thought I would. I'm still learning how to play, and I've got a long way to go. But I think as this season progresses, I will be finding more to what I do. I will hopefully maybe even get a win or two. Now, to not get fired, I need to essentially score sort of 7 wins out of the season. I've done a very low level expectations. What you can also see here is I actually outscore him on passing yards. Outscoring on nothing else, but I do get more passing yards. So, you know, small wins. Thank you very much for watching this video. Remember, follow me on Twitter at @TheRealTomTom. And with these videos, again, just in the comments, let me know, would you like every time I do a game to post that up as a singular thing, or do them as one a week and double videos for the 2 games that I play in that week. Thanks very much for watching this video.